Hello guys, welcome back. In this video we will see how we can perform CRUD operations on AndDesign table by adding different records in the table, by deleting different records, and by editing different records. So let's get started. I have an empty ReactJS project that is using AndDesign. So we will be using the table component from the AndDesign. So let's import that and use it here. So table, and let's add its column and data source as well. So columns and data source. So let's declare the variables against these. So suppose we want to show the data of a student. Suppose we want to show student ID, its name, then email and address. So let's declare those columns. So for the first column with the key of 1 and with the title of ID and data index to be ID. Let's copy this one and paste it for other columns. So it will be, second will be for the name, data index could be name, and this third can be email, and then this fourth can be address, right? And these are the columns. Let's add this here. So let's declare the data source as well. For the data source, let's declare the state so that we can change it later on. Let's add few records in that. So we can add a ID 1 and name can be a random name. We can say Johan, and then email can be johan@gmail.com, and its address can be Johan address, right? Let's copy it and add few more records. Let's add 4 records with the ID of 2, and we can say David, and also David's address. We can say ID of 3, we can say James address, and then we can say Sam and Sam address, right? So data source is also declared. This, let's import the use state from React, right? And we have added the columns, and we can add the data source here. Let's save it, and here you go, the ID column, name, email, and the address, right? So let's try adding the different functions of the CRUD. So we can create or add different records in the table, and then we will edit and delete. So let's add a button to add a new student, right? And let's save it. Here you go, add a new student, and on click of it, let's add a function. We can say that on add student, and in that what we will be doing is we will be updating the data source in such a way that we add a new record at the bottom, right? I think its ID is 1, that is wrong, it should be 4. Okay, and here what we will be doing is whatever we will be returning whatever is previously in the data source, and then a new student. So let's add a new student. Const new student is equal to, that will be a data similar to this one. So let's copy and add it here. Right. So for the ID, here for the demo purpose, or for the purpose of this video, we can declare a random ID, but in reality it will be maybe coming from the backend or somewhere, so that is unique. So random maybe within 1000, and because it will generate a number with the decimals, so let's pass it to int, and maybe we can use this random number for the name, email and address as well. So let's copy it and declare another variable called random number, and paste it here, and we can say the ID is random number, and then the name can also be name, then a random number, and then email address can be a random number plus, sorry, it should be a random number. Okay, random number at the rate gmail.com, and then we can say address plus random number, so address 123 something, right? And let's add student here. On add student, this function will be called, and it will generate a random number, and then the new student object will be created, and we are adding the new student object at the end of this data source. Let's save it, add a new student added, its ID, name and email address. Let's add one or two more. So here you go. So adding a new student. So let's add another column here. We can call it actions, and in that we can add the added action or the delete actions. So let's go ahead and add a column. We can say with a key of 5, and title could be actions, and we do not need the data index. Instead we will be rendering our own we can say our own UI. So here we can return few elements in a fragment or few icons from the end design. So I have already created a video on how we can add or manipulate or customize different icons from the end design. I will add its link in the description below as well, so that you can take a look. So let's add the few icons from end design icons. So let's add the edit outlined and then the delete outlined. Yep. Okay, so let's go ahead, and here we can add the edit outlined and then the delete outlined, right? Save it. Here you go, actions, edit and delete. Let's change the color of the delete to maybe red. So let's style it and its color to be red. Let's add a little margin here as well. So we can say margin left to be maybe 12. Yeah, itself. Okay, so now let's add a function similar to we have added on add student. We can add a function on delete student, and in that we will be getting the record of that row which the user is wanted to be treated. So here on click of this delete icon, what we will be doing is we will be calling on delete student, and we will passing the record whatever we have got here, right? So record, and here again we will be manipulating this data source, so it will be set data source to be its previous, filter out the value from data source whose id is equal to this record's the id. So it will be pre dot filter, and it will be giving us the student, and what we will be doing is student dot id is not equal to record dot id, right? And we will be returning it. Okay, save it, let's refresh, and if I now call this delete, that John is deleted, so if we want to delete this David, that is also deleted. Add a new student, suppose this 461, deleted, it is deleted, right? So here you see that we have accomplished the delete action from the table, but as soon as you click on the delete, it deletes that record right away. So if you want to add a confirmation pop-up in between this delete and the record deletion, so we can add that as well. So let's go ahead and import the model from the end design, and on delete, before deleting it, we will be saying that model dot confirm, and we can say the title, are you sure you want to delete this to record, right? And on OK, it will be calling a function. In that function we will be doing this one, right? So we will be on delete action, this on click of this icon, we will be displaying a confirmation model that will display this function, this message, and on click of OK we will be doing the deletion. So let's give it a try. So delete, are you sure you want to delete this to record? If I cancel, do nothing. If I press OK, it deletes it. But you see that OK doesn't look good, so let's add a, are you sure what want to delete it? Yes. So let's customize that. So OK text, we can say that yes, and also let's make it red so that it looks like it is a something related to deletion or danger. So OK type could be danger, right? Okay, save it, refresh. Johan, here you go. Yes, delete it. New students added, 927, delete it. Yes, 22, delete. If I cancel, do nothing. And if I delete this one, that record will be deleted, right? So that was related to the delete. So let's implement this edit now, and here similar to delete student function, let's add a function for the edit student, and we will be getting a similar record here as well. Okay, so let's add the on click, you can say that this one and this one, yeah. On edit student, what is wrong here? No, on edit on edit student. There you go. And we will be passing the record, right? Save it. And here we can display a model with these values already populated, and in that model we can edit these values, and then we will be saving it or cancelling if we want to cancel that. So let's add a model here. So maybe we can call it model, and of course we will be adding similar things we have added here as well. So we can say that the title would be added student, right? And if it's visible, we can declare a state here for its visibility. So use state is editing, maybe we can say false, and as soon as user click on this as edit, we can make it is editing to true. We say set is editing to true, and here we can say is editing, right? And on cancel we can set is editing to false, right? Save it. And also on OK we will be set is editing to false, right? Oh sorry, function, then this one, right? So is it edit student, we will be adding a fields here, and on cancel doing nothing, okay do nothing. And maybe on for the OK we can make this OK test to maybe save, right? So okay, save, right? So let's add different input fields here. Okay, so let's add fields. Here let's import the input field, and also whenever there is edit, we can save that record in the state. So whichever the record is under editing, so we can say that editing student, and by default it will be null. And whenever there is on edit click, set editing to true, and also set editing student to this record. So this record is being updated, or maybe we do not change this one, so we make a copy of this right here. And here input, for input its value, the first could be the name, so we can call that editing student dot name, and its value can be, editing student can be null initially here, so we make it optional chaining, right, like this way, so that it does not crash. So if we remove this one, so it will say that we cannot read the name property of null, so we add a question mark, so that if it is null, so it will return the undefined, right? Here you go. So John, this is David, and this is James, right? So let's add other fields as well. this is input for the name, then this is for the email, and this is for the address. Save it, and here you go. John is email and name. Let's add a new student. This one, edit, name, email, and address, right? And here if you start editing it, it is not doing because we have not added the function for the its on change. So let's add that on change. That will be giving a on change. What we'll be doing is we will be setting the editing student its previous value to pre dot. We will be returning whatever is available previously plus its name to be e dot target dot name, right? So on change we will be returning all of other fields, I mean all the fields, and overriding this name name key for the editing student, right? So we can add this for the other inputs as well, here and here, and here we were overriding the name, here we will be overriding the email, and here we will be overriding the address. Save it, and now if you open it, so now okay, value is email, address, on change e dot target dot value, right? Save it. If I now change it, it is getting changed, right? But right now we have not written anything regarding when it is we can say that on OK we are only set editing to false. So we can say also set editing to false, or maybe we can add a function that we can say reset editing, and here we set this to false, set editing to false, and set editing student to null, right? And here on cancel we call the reset editing, and also on OK we call the reset editing, but on OK we need to update that record as well. So here we will be doing set data source to, so here what we'll be doing is we'll be mapping of all of the records, and whichever the record this one is, we will update that record. So we will be doing return pre dot map, it will be giving us the student, and in that what we will be doing is we will checking if student dot id is equal to that editing student dot record student dot id. If it is equal to that one, then return the editing student, because we have updated editing student here, right? As soon as it changes, we have updated its record, so we will be returning that one. And in if that is not equal to that, we will be returning whatever the student is previously we are getting here, right? So let's save it, refresh, John 1 2 3, save it, here you go, John 1 2 3. Let's add David email address to suppose 1111 here you go, one, add a new student. Let's change this to maybe not it is suppose Amir754@gmail.com. Here you go, right? So in this way we have covered that how we can add different records in a table, how we can delete a different records in a tables, and also we can add a confirmation pop-up before deleting, and also we can how we can edit different records, and in the edit we can add a different fields here, and maybe we can add a different, we can say, validations here if needed. So it's up to us whatever we want to display, and we can add validations or something, or even we can add different fields here which are even not available in the data source. So that's it on the CRUD operations on the AND design table. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, and if you learned something in this video, please hit like and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video. Thank you.